I don't know what kind of condition he's in. I'm sure he's bruised, but you hope that he's gonna be good. I mean, if you're a Met fan, you hope. I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. I hope he's hope he's still feeling the effects a little bit.
Right.
Nothing serious, of course.
Well, the Mets actually won a series in Philadelphia.
How about that?
Which is amazing, considering the Phillies are maybe the worst team in baseball. Well, no,
I think the White Sox might be the worst team in baseball.
White Sox, 391 and 374. No, the Phillies are.
They are the worst team in baseball. Hey, way to go, Phillies.
Philly does that good. They remember
they do what good? Suck?
Sometimes really bad. It's not just remember the
Philly's got a lot of bad
76ers
sports teams.
years ago and
no, not years ago. Last year, 2 years ago,
too.
the last 5 years for the 76ers. They've been tanking, trying to build a team.
Yeah, trying.
Like what the Jets are going to do this year.
So I agree with you, brother. I think the Yankees are going to sweep this series with the Mets. I don't want to say that, but
I mean, I'm the only reason I'm not going to say that is because DeGrom is pitching tonight, and anytime DeGrom pitches, the Mets should win.
Yeah,
and Conforto's been hot. He's been real hot, as a matter of fact. He's hitting really well. They don't have much
285
left.
right now.
They don't have much left as far as Conforto should hit 30 home runs this year. He's got like 26 or something right now. But I mean, to me, Conforto's been their best player. He's been better than Cespedes.
Oh, yeah.
Cespedes has been hurt all the time and really hasn't done a lot.
And it says a lot that at the beginning of the season they didn't know what to do with Conforto. They were like,
they did know what they were going to do. They were going to send him to the minor leagues.
Right, they were going to send
he
him
forced his way onto the roster.
Right,
and lucky for the Mets, he did.
So I mean, now he's sort of turning into the guy they talked about the first season when he first showed up.
Oh yeah, he's by far their best player. And they need to figure out how to get Cespedes interested again, because he's just going through the motions at this point.
Yeah,
So I mean, why pay the guy? What are they paying him? $27 million or whatever it is,
something like that.
I mean, they're paying him a ridiculous amount of money. He needs to show a little bit more. I mean, granted, it's a lost season at this point, and the Mets aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, but a player like him has to have just for the numbers, for his pride, but also just because why he's making $27 million a year.
Yeah, show up. Be a professional.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
I mean, that's I don't think if a team is paying you $27 million a year, just to be their main guy, well, be that guy. Show up. Don't say, well, the season's over and I'm just gonna do what I have to do and not do anything else. That's the wrong attitude.
Anything else about the Yankees before we go to break?
Yes, as a matter of fact. Right now, let's see. We got 3 injuries, as a matter of fact. CC Sabathia and Masahiro Tanaka both went on the DL last week. So Jordan Montgomery was recalled again from the minor leagues. He pitched last night. I thought he did a nice job, Montgomery. And Montgomery actually got hit in the head during batting practice on Saturday. A ball kind of did a hump over one of the nets and smacked him in the head, cut his ear. They did the whole concussion protocol thing. Figured out he was okay. And like I said, I thought he pitched pretty well last night. I just wish he could have gone a little deeper into the game. And Clint Frazier, Red Thunder, he might be done for the season. If not, it's going to be close to it. He pulled an oblique during batting practice, and that's the same injury that Aaron Hicks just came back from, and he was out for something like 5 weeks. So 5 weeks from now is what, September 20th or so, 25th.
Would he be on if the Yankees made the playoffs? Would he be on the playoff roster?
Yeah, I mean he could be, sure, but it's a matter of how much time is it going to take to get him game ready, and I mean it's for that time of the season, and depending on where the Yankees are standings wise and whatnot, they're not really going to have games where Frazier's going to be able to play and kind of work himself back into shape. They'll go with the outfield of Gardner, Hicks, and Judge, and do it that way.
And by the way, Aaron Judge is
I'm not happy with what's going on with him. He's off balance.
Did the American League finally learn how to pitch to him? Is that what's going on?
That's part of it, but Aaron Judge has to figure out how to adjust to the league. And I read a story coming in on the train today that also made sense, is that the umpires are calling a bigger strike zone against him now. In the first half of the season, some of the pitches that are now being called strikes, especially the higher ones, weren't being called strikes earlier in the season.
Right.
So pitchers are figuring out that they can get him out with high fastballs, which for him are high. But the problem is he's swinging a little late and under a lot of pitches. And the lateness is the issue because he's got to get his timing down where and he's also got to start recognizing pitches. Early in the season, the first half of the season, it seemed like everything they were throwing at him, he recognized. He saw, all right, that's going to be a slider low and outside. I'm not going to swing at that. I'm not even going to offer it that. This pitch is going to be outside. This pitch is going to be high. And he had a very good eye. He was very discerning about what he was swinging at and what he was letting go by. And he was even letting strikes go by, but they weren't good strikes for him to swing at. There was pitcher strikes. So, but now it just seems like he's swinging at almost every. It's almost like he's turned into the Aaron Judge from last season, which was not a good Aaron Judge.
No, and maybe it's just there's a slight nervousness. Here's the king of the American League the first half of the season, and now it's not happening, and he's maybe breaking away. Well, from his stride, so to speak, his swing.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's it. I'm sure he's trying to figure out what's wrong, and there's some apprehension there because obviously he has very quickly come to be a very important part of the Yankee lineup.
Oh, definitely.
And that's one of the reasons why the team is struggling in the second half is because he hasn't hit so well. Gary Sanchez hasn't hit very well. Matt Holliday is back on the disabled list. There's a lot of bats that the Yankees were expecting production from that they've gotten nothing from in the second half, and that's been a big issue. So, and Gary Sanchez with his defense, Girardi called him out on his defense last week, and Sanchez sat a couple of games. Austin Romine's been getting more time behind the plate, and Sanchez has wound up DHing now with Holliday on the DL. So, and again, I mean, Clint Frazier was slumping a little bit or starting to kind of tail off a little bit before he got hurt, but Hicks is playing well. So we'll see what happens.
We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC. 516-572-7440 if you'd like to make a comment or question. Tim, you're on Twitter at
Real Tim Leonard.
It's now easier to listen to the voice of Nassau Community College on your phone.
Stay connected to your favorite radio station anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app.
Never miss shows like the Nassau Morning Madhouse, It's Saucy, or the Radio Rumble Again.
Streaming 24/7, 365. Listen to WHPC everywhere.
iHeartRadio is radio and unlimited music all in one app.
Listen live now in the iHeartRadio app and at iHeartRadio.com.
Just search for 90.3 WHPC.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
If there was a food that you could have delivered right to your doorstep, what would it be?
Hibachi. I want it delivered with the grill, and I want them to cook it right in front of me.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
isn't
seriously.
the point of hibachi, like...
They can do it in my living room.
You're just going to straight up ask them to wheel a grill into your living room?
And I want the tricks. I want the shrimp thrown in the hat and the whole deal. Krispy Kreme, that's another one.
Oh, Krispy Kreme.
Of course.
There's no more around here.
Can we set up the glaze machine in my living room?
Oh, can I just, like, have that funned directly into my mouth, please?
I want to lay on those conveyor belts and just let it drip all over me.
Ew, that is a disgusting thing. I don't want to... Oh.
God, does that feel good?
I feel my egg whites coming up.
The Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings at 9. Yeah. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Before we get to the Mets, did you see Bryce Harper's injury last night?
Yes, I did. It was rather gruesome. It actually could have been. I thought it was worse.
It looked like someone grabbed his leg from, like a troll under the base, like grabbed his leg as he was running. I was shocked.
One way of describing it.
And the funny thing is, he took a very indirect shot at ESPN. He said, "Well,
I didn't hear that."
He said, "I really didn't like the fact we were playing at 10 o'clock in the evening in the rain."
Well, I don't blame him for that.
And that
but why were they doing that? Oh, because of ESPN.
Yeah, and ESPN pays a lot of money, so
yes, they do.
So that's
but
what happens.
I mean, I understand what he said because there was also something else he said about trying to treat the bases. I mean, because a lot of people, I think, a lot of people our
There's a
age,
certain
I guess
slide.
I should
There's
say.
a certain slide on it. Yeah.
Well, but a lot of people, I think, our age, think that the bases are this kind of soft,
right?
Almost pillow. It's not. It's hard.
It used to be kind of a. It used to have some
back
sort of,
in the old days. Yes,
it used to have some sort of softness where it would give a little bit.
Back
now,
in the 50s.
Now it's like
it's a hard. It's
slick rock or something.
Almost, yeah. But
slate.
that's why Harper's foot slid. And I was hearing some stuff last night that some of the first basemen try to rough up the base with their cleats a little bit, so it gives it a little more grip.
Right.
Because I mean, it's almost like a piece of linoleum or something.
Yeah,
it sounds like. I mean, I've never actually touched a major league base, but the way they make it sound is it sounds kind of dangerous.
And what they do, they change them a lot too. So they're always new.
But that's my point. If they change them that much, then why isn't the top of the bag where the players are stepping? Why isn't that have some grip to it? If they're changing them all the time,
there should be something there. I saw that last night. I'm watching. I'm like, wow, that was because it looked like he just was grabbed. I was just amazed.
His foot, for those of you who didn't see it, Harper stepped on first. He was running first. He got thrown out, but as his foot hit the bag, it slid.
Yeah,
and it like Rob said, it was almost like he got grabbed because he just stopped, and you could see his right leg just hyperextend at the knee.
Yep.
I mean, it was gross how it just like inverted. And then Harper, it almost looked like he kicked himself, but I guess he didn't, but maybe he did. And then he just like flew forward and almost somersaulted.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was just really shocking how his body just flew and flipped, and it was just what just happened to this kid.
Fortunately, he was walking afterwards, but with a slight limp, so at least he's not with crutches or.
He's probably in crutches now, but it's just because
he walked into the press conference and he was okay for the most part for a guy who just had that.
I'm sure he's braced up and he's probably on crutches for a few days just to take pressure off the knee and to let it heal because he's going to be out for a while. He's got a bone bruise now. That's what they diagnosed: a hyperextended knee and a bone bruise, and a pretty serious bone bruise. So he's probably going to be out for about a month, which not to lessen the injury or to reduce the seriousness of it, but the Nationals are so far ahead in the National League East that it's not really going to impact them in any way. But they need Bryce Harper.
Miami's 14 games behind.
Yeah, but the Nationals still need Bryce Harper. He's obviously a huge part of their team, so they're going to need him to be ready and ready to go at least a couple weeks before the season ends, just so he can get some at bats before the playoffs start.
By the way, Los Angeles, this is how good they're playing. 709 percentage, 83 and 34.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. The Mets, tonight start with the Yankees, 4-game, I guess, Subway Series.
Yes.
16.5 games out. They're a game ahead of Atlanta, which doesn't really say a lot.
They're just going to be trading places with.
And, they did some trades this week, and everyone's, they're getting rid of money. Yeah, well, that's what the Mets are going to do right now. If they can save a couple of bucks.
I want to know why the Mets couldn't have done these trades at the deadline.
They should have. I don't know.
And what was why? A, why didn't they get them done? And B, what's the advantage for the Mets doing them now? Because it doesn't seem to me like they can get more.
They can't get anything right now.
Well, I mean, they're getting minor leaguers, so it doesn't really matter for them from that standpoint. But what's the advantage for them for doing these trades, a week or a week and a half after the trading deadline? I don't see it. I don't think they're getting as much as maybe they could have if they would have traded these guys, like when they traded Addison Reed to the Red Sox.
Right. I
don't get it.
I just think they just want to have a minor league team by the end of August. It just seems that way. The Mets should be doing Groupon discounts all over the place.
I'm sure they are. Those tickets are going to be Met fans. Look for the tickets on Craigslist for $5.
Oh God, it's going to be a sad next 2 months or month and a half.
But we're looking at the Mets. All right, Neil Walker was traded to the Brewers the other day, a couple days after Jay Bruce went to the Indians. The Yankees thought they had a deal for Jay Bruce.
Right.
Even had agreed on the minor leaguers, apparently. and
who
all of a sudden,
weren't bad actually, from what
I didn't even